forgot. Okay, you talked about, we know that the isness has to be recognized, but I see it more as a demonstration um, than something to be recognized. For instance, if I say I recognize you, I recognize your face, means I can make you out. So is the is like something that can be recognized, grasped, and all like? Because I want to think that it should more be of a demonstration, that the individual demonstrates the isness than recognizing it. I don't. Can you maybe shed some light on this?
No, that was excellent. No, you're getting it. Okay, so you're getting it. I wrote this many times, the basic 3 steps, but no, first you, just like this, as you come into the new presentation here, as you come into what I'm referring to, all right, you begin to recognize there is a difference between what we're presenting and what's going on in the world. Okay, that's the first step. And then you learn to start to see it. Okay, you start to see what's going on. And yes, you might say the next step is to demonstrate it. Okay, an easy example is that you're a kid. I will just say even an adult, whatever, and you're sitting there in the bleachers and you're watching people play baseball, and maybe you've watched baseball for a long time or you're a little kid and this is new to you, okay? Let's just say you're a kid from another country and you've never seen baseball, all right? You're 5 or 10 years old, whatever, okay? Something along those lines. And you're sitting there watching the game and it's like all of a sudden you start to recognize how this is played, how this works. You see, it's like, oh, I see this now. They're throwing the ball around. They're hitting the ball. They're running the bases. And this equals that or whatever. You start to see and recognize what's going on. But eventually, when you decide, you step up and you want to do the same thing. So that's where you become the demonstration when you get out on the playing field and you do it. You see? So those are the steps, aren't they? So it's more than just sitting in the bleachers. I was there too, everybody was, and at some point you decide to step up. And just like sitting at the seminars and listening to the master say those pretty words, and listening to political speeches and all these things and these fine dinners that they have at the White House or the Queen is serving, whatever it is you're serving. Yes, we went there, but at some point you want to step up, don't you? And yeah, it is the demonstration. It is the doing that is real. And this is where the boys have set themselves in a position of always doing. Now, we have this in creation. Okay, this is creation. Because in creation is where we figure out the reality of the isness. Now, there's always more to it that is not seen. So it is up to you when you decide to consider that. And this becomes the interesting part. And so each person is going to see it in their own way. Actually, most people won't see it. It's just that's how it is. Maybe they never will. I don't know. That's up to each one of us. But it can be seen in our own particular way and how we decide to do it. But there is the process, young man. So again, something's going on in creation, and it always is. It's always going on somewhere. And again, we've all lived all these lifetimes, even this one. You're in your 60s or whatever, or 50s or 60s, or whatever. You've lived a lot. You've experienced a lot. There's always something to relate to, always, every moment. And this is where you're ready. The boys are always ready every moment. I'm always ready. I've prepared myself like an actor. An actor walks around their house reading the scripts. They rehearse it, they rehearse it, they rehearse it. You think Robin Williams or Jonathan Winters or any of the comedians that walk on stage, they just all of a sudden know this stuff? They rehearse even when they're sleeping. They rehearse in their sleep. They rehearse their part so that they can go out there and demonstrate it. You see, it is the demonstrated. It is the demonstration, just like you're saying. And so this is what we've been talking about all along, is to get get people to do something. Simply do something. It's not about, I don't know what to do. That doesn't make sense. So if you don't want to make sense of your life, then just keep questioning yourself and saying, I don't know what to do. Because that does not make sense to the whole of life, because the whole of life always is and is always on. Just like the sun shining. Have you ever seen the sun not shine? And again, this is why the sun is an excellent, real, and sincere demonstration of the true reality life is. So yes, there it is exactly. Again, it's gone over and over and over. And again, most people question it. So, we've come through this process to get here, to eventually have the good fortune to, have the reference material that goes directly to this. That is the real connection. The new you is the real connection. But it is up to you, and the boys will give you experiences, and what they're trying to do is really wake you up and prepare you so that you're self-sufficient for yourself, and that you can step up and stand real with them, shoulder to shoulder, you might say, you see, if that's what you decide. But you must decide that. You must decide every step. Just like when you're walking out, just when you're on the team and you're walking out to the plate, you are considering certain things. I want to hit a home run. I want to hit into left field. I want to just get on base, whatever. Okay, put on the gloves or not put on the gloves for the bat, or use an aluminum bat or wood bat. You're deciding everything at all. Or to chew gum or tobacco or, whatever, sea urchins, whatever, and spit them out as you're out there. You decide everything. You're deciding every moment. And so what's so cool about knowing the is that you can set yourself in this, and then eventually you can recognize how to demonstrate anything, and everything is workable. Absolutely everything is workable. Everything. There are no goods and bads and rights and wrongs. You see, people are still in that mode. They've been taught that mode. They've been taught obedience. Be obedient to the system. And it's just like me when I write. People look at what I write. It's like, hey, you go up and down. You got big little words, this words. You got these words here I don't understand. You're not following the English language. You're tearing it apart. And people will say that. And actually, I'm not. I'm not tearing apart the English language. It's still there. I'm creating my own position that relates to this unique and awesome reality like nothing else. And so I have to create words that do in some way imply this reality, and not just commonly so, not just use the word God and thinking in my own mind that others will recognize what I'm writing about when it's all the same thing as everybody else. How can that be so? So I've got to create positions that relate solely and fully to this reality, and that are aside from what has been created and people have agreed to and cannot see past. See, so again, it's like going from high school to college. It's the same, but it's different. And then you go into the university, and then you excel from there. You see, where is it that you stop? But these are very limited positions. This reality is so unique, and this is where I suggest that people write their own stories and books. But, again, most people don't take the time to do that, because from that, I'm showing people how to really see a lot more for themselves. and see, write their life, just kind of go over it, maybe 100 pages, see how they've come through all this to get to here, and they see the procession of things. You know, when people have lived a long life and then they just say, you know, I many times talk to them and they tell me some of their life. And I say, wow, your life's very interesting. You should write a book. People will like to read it. That's what I told Ava. That's what I've told many people. And they go, and I usually get the same answer. It's like, oh, nobody will read it. My life's not that interesting. And see, again, what they do is they make their lives into nothing. That's a decision. If it's nothing, it's nothing. Or you can make it into something, you see? And so not only, you know, that helps a person step up to this present moment of when they've come into the new presentation and they've seen this reference that I've created here, because it's taken me a lot to bring this forward. And Paul gave hints at it in the book, the isness, but people couldn't get it at that time. He couldn't establish, he had to really dumb it down to where people could understand it. And they understood groups and religion and God and spiritual paths, and it's somewhat, they understood these things. So that's where he started. He had to start somewhere. Now it's become part of the biggest wake-up ever, even though it's gotten all just distorted, which is fine. It's all workable. I see it as all workable. And so just looking at the world, I see the world as fine. You know why? Because people have free will and they have the right to choose whatever they do. It's all fine. Yes, that's the one thing that the boys don't interfere with. It's free will. No matter what the person decides. And the isness itself does not interfere. Just like the sun shining. Do you ever see it interfere with people's free will? Never. Never interferes. And that's what's so cool about the isness when you recognize it. You see, it's pure sincerity. You want to stand in that? You can. Figure it out. But it's real. It's more real than anything here. Or you want to keep going with this. Huh? Keep putting yourself into drudgery, cause and effect, etc. And guess what? When you recognize the is, there is no karma. There is no reincarnation. Everything is. And you don't have to travel anywhere or go anywhere. No, that's illusion. From here to there, those are the heavens of man or the places in life. Because once you get there, if you haven't recognized the is, you're still nowhere. So it's not a matter of getting anywhere, is it? It's a matter of now and seeing it now and stepping up. And only when you step up will you really see it. But until then, you know, you decide your journey. So yes, it's a big challenge, and there's many ways to see it, Charles. And the demonstration is very real. You know, again, when you see something, you know, it's like the whistleblowers of the world. You know, they work for the government. They got a great job. They got the benefits there. Life is good. And then at some point they start to see, don't they, what's going on. They really start to see all the routines and where they lead. And there's this one gal that worked for the military, and she saw them bringing in, and she's on stage, she's a singer too, I've seen some of her videos. She just says it right out there, and she saw them bringing all the chemtrail stuff in and whatever, and at some point she stepped up. She had the courage to step up. These are risk takers. They're risking their lives. Most of these people are eliminated right away. I guess she's still out there talking about it. And that is that, you know, at a point you see what's going on, but will you decide to step up in some way and creatively bring this forward? You know, just like many of these mothers are watching their children being destroyed by the vaccines. And a lot of them are afraid. They're afraid to step up. And even when they're affected, they want to pretend that, oh, no, it's not that, because the doctors will tell them, oh, no, it's not the vaccine. It's something else, you know, something that fell from the sky, whatever. You see, that's how it is. You know, when the so-called authorities tell us that, oh, we don't know what it is. Yes, they do. They created it. You know, when you go back a couple hundred years to the Indian and cowboy days, hey, they had none of this nonsense. But we have it today. It's like all of a sudden now we need it. We need to be poisoned all the time. So again, The world is what it is, and it's getting worse every day. There's no la la land. That's illusion. It's time to get real. It's time to be the real warrior and step up. Or you're just swept away. You'll go back to sleep. I mean, that's how life is. And so to have this here, I would say every person that's here and others is very fortunate to know about this and not take it for granted at all. But again, the boys, the demonstration, that's where, people look to the real guidance. Yes, but they don't live your life. It's guidance. And you want to learn to stand on your own, just like when you're going to school. And, the boys are always there. They're always there. But, the best part is that just like on the team, when they're taking the photo, they're all shoulder to shoulder, aren't they? And you're just there. You're just standing real with the team. And that's really how it is. You'll reach a point where you don't ask questions anymore because you see it, and all of them see it. You see it. You're with them. Everybody sees each other. That's the being to being thing, where we recognize each other. But while we're here in creation, the boys love the adventure. I've decided this adventure, just like Paul. He was to decide it. They nominated him to do it. They nominated me to do this. And so I've decided this. I changed the levels on the real side, changed all the levels in creation, decided the vessel projects and all this. I decided this, and they're adamant standing real with this because it all creates a benefit for everybody here. So for those that step up and demonstrate this and do something, lucky you, because this is how life steps up for you. It can only, you might say, meet you halfway, but you must decide to meet it face on and then recognize it. And then it recognizes that you recognize it, and that recognition becomes what you decide is your demonstration to benefit everyone and everything. It's so cool. So yes, that's in the doing, Charles. So it's like you practice, you've done your batting practice. Now go out there and decide to hit the home run. See, that's what we're doing. We're deciding to hit the home run, and we are. We've already done it many times. And it's not about the world agreeing. It's not about numbers. No, it's about quality. It's just like Babe Ruth. He hit the home runs. He struck out a lot too, but he still hit the most home runs. And that was just one person, but he did it. And so again, each one of us is unique, and we can stand real with this true reality. It's very simple to recognize. And eventually it becomes a love affair. That's the best part, just like a love affair here. Yeah. So, and it's demonstrated all the time, but you need to recognize it. You need to take the time to recognize it, as opposed to continually, consciously and unconsciously agreeing to the phenomena and marketing that's being, constantly projected onto everybody. Yes, we have that. We have fun in that. And if you make it a reality, it becomes your reality. But if you see it for what it is, it's for what it is. It's like having an ice cream. That's not your whole life. It's just something that you do here in creation, and it's all fine. But there's a bigger picture to be seen. That's the best part. So, yes, and so that's why we're here, and I'm very grateful to see everybody that has stepped up. Because I do everything this is why I do all the writing and everything, and just do everything I can in the projects. Projects are very important. This helps people focus, and eventually these will be a real purpose for people, better than just a career into the cabal system of the business world that's going nowhere. It's absolutely going nowhere. This pattern has been done so many times, and it all self-destructs. It always does. You're seeing it. And so, but what we're proposing, and for those that step up and take part, is a real purpose. There's a difference. And that's learning to stand real with the all is. So, and that's a big step. That's huge. But that's all we can do, like the sun shining. The sun can only shine. It cannot decide. This is what people have to sort out. They are the deciders. There are no gods. Nobody created you. You've decided everything through everything you've come through. You have decided all of it. Nobody's decided anything. You have agreed with many things that others have, created or decided, but you become the decider. And just like those people that work for the government, yeah, they're afraid, they're scared, like Snowden and others and many, many others. Hey, they got to go to other countries. But that's a heck of an adventure too. Lucky them. They get out of the groove, the boring, boring groove, and you know what? They start to see life different because there's always other ways to see it. In other words, the created life, that is. You have two lives. You have your created life, and you have a real life once you recognize it. You decide which one comes first, and you decide which one you want. And most people take the created life. And that's just where you grow old and unaware and you forget you were here. That's the created life. So good luck with that one. But you can have both at the same time. And when you step out of here, you will have the awareness that you've decided, and you can go further. And the boys will, guide you according to what you've decided. You decide to stand real with the all is and demonstrate or not. Yes, and I know it is huge. I've went through the families and everything, and they don't get what I'm doing. Not at all, not even close. Because they're afraid and they're back to their religions and their personal life, which is fine. But I see from where I stand and what I've been through that what I'm doing makes sense, even though the world is not interested. And the world is only interested in itself and can't wait to do itself in. Really, it's doing very well. And that's a choice the world makes. All I can do is, try to create a warning with people, so I creatively put it out there in many different ways. And I'm criticized for that too. And Paul was too. And so misunderstood and whatever. But again, it's like the sun shining. You just go back to square one, sun shining. It all comes from that. That's a reference here. I use that as a reference all the time. And so, yes, Charles, the doing and the demonstrating. And so you are there. The boys chose you. The boys chose every one of us to give us the opportunity to see what we can do. It's like the manager of a baseball team. And you've seen it in the movies. And, one of the players is hurt or something, and the manager looks at the bench and he points to somebody. It's like, you're up, get out there. You see, that's just how real it is. Okay, they're not going to bring you a birthday cake first and you have a couple bites. No, it's like, get out there, let's see what you can do. And so this is where the boys have chosen each one of you. And so you decide what you're going to do that makes sense with standing real with all those that will support you. Yes, it is in the demonstration, Charles, and they chose you for Africa. Like I said, you have Africa, I'll take the rest of creation, okay? And so it's up to you, and you're an educator, how to bring this about creatively to wake up people. And whether you do or not, it's their choice, but you just do the best you can, but at least you're doing it. And you can see, again, what Miriam's doing. She's wonderful. And Zippity Doodah, she just stepped up, and within a couple of months, she had a whole bunch of students. Well, she did her homework, didn't she? That's why the boys chose her. Yeah. And everybody has their unique positions. And for those that I work closely with, they are seeing this. They are seeing what's going on real fast. Yeah. Chris is a good example. We've been together a long time. Seems like a lifetime, but it's huge. And Kelsey stepped up, and here's Claudie and Keith and others. We're all on our adventures, and Val. I don't name everybody, but in 4 years here now with Ava, we've done a whole lot. Ava and I are basically together 8 hours a day for 4 years. 8 hours a day. She's 9 hours difference in Germany, so we've creatively put it together to where we're together, and we're not always on and doing things. We do such things, or we discuss things, and we create things, but we've created a whole lot. And one of the first steps, if people can just share what we're doing, just put it out there on Facebook or whatever. I think Facebook's great. I know the Nazis own it. It's fine. It doesn't matter. But we still get to use this medium until we don't. So again, it's a demonstration, isn't it? And in the meantime, read the books, have your real side experiences, and especially those with children. As I raised my daughter, she's now 33 and still has all kinds of attitudes. Those are her choices. But I raised her to be self-sufficient, and she is. She has her own. She's always had her own businesses, etc. She takes care of herself. But when she was young, I took the time all the time with her real side because she had awesome experiences. She told me things I never knew. It's so cool. Children are wonderful, and adults, for the most part, they just stamp out their children. And their children are so open to so many things. And the new you will really bring in a lot. And you could write stories and volumes and share that. Now we have the homeschool, which is so cool. You see, we have the homeschool, we have the university, we have the vessel projects. We have everything. We cover everything like never before. And we have nothing to do with the systems, yet we work with the systems. You see, there is a difference. We are in this world. And so everything is workable. Yeah. Yes, Charles, the demonstration and the doing. You're the man, Charles. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Duane.